Federal Appeal Court earlier this week voided the Electoral Act Section 84, subsection 12, declaring it unconstitutional in the process. Is this a good or bad development? Well, that's the launchpad of our promoted conversation this morning with Dr. Mike Ozekhome, Senior Advocate of Nigeria and a constitutional lawyer. Good morning, Dr. Ozekhome. Good to have you with us.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, all, and welcome, Nigerians.
Thank you so much. All right, so let's start this way, Dr. Ozekhome. There is a cacophony of voices today, arising from the current developments in the polity. For instance, Electoral Act Section 84, subsection 12, which has just been voided by the Court of Appeal. Many people may have forgotten that you, ab initio, called it unconstitutional right from day one. How do you feel about this development now that the Court of Appeal is saying that it is unconstitutional and should be null and void?
Well, I feel good that my little contributions from my little window are being appreciated by the polity, by Nigerians, and even by the courts of law. I have tried in my years as a lawyer, 41 years now, and about 13 years, 41 years as a lawyer, 13 years as a senior advocate of Nigeria, and all my 64 years on earth as a human rights activist and pro-democracy campaigner, because they are embedded in my genes, in my DNA. I have tried to view issues as much as possible objectively, without relating them to specific individuals. I've tried to use the spirit of nationalism as a Nigerian patriot to see how we can make Nigeria a better place. So when I analyze issues, I do so dispassionately, constructively. I do so objectively. I don't talk politics when I'm analyzing legal issues. I don't mix politics with law. I don't mix legal matters with emotions. I don't mix legal matters with morality. Because even in lower classes where we were taught jurisprudence, we are taught that there is a difference between law and morality. We are taught that there is a difference between what you call the lex lata of law and the de lege ferenda. What does it mean? The lex lata is the law as it is now. And the de lege ferenda is the law as you would want it to be. That normally incorporates morality, emotions, sentiments. I don't do it. So I have stated from day one that Section 84.12 was null and void because it was inconsistent with various sections of the Constitution. The Constitution has already made provisions for those who can vote and who can be voted for. In law, you cannot add or subtract from constitutional wordings. If you do so, such a law that confronts the Constitution frontally will be rendered null and void and will be struck down by the court. Because Section 1, subsection 1 of the Constitution says, this Constitution shall be supreme. And then Section 1, subsection 3 says, any other law which is inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be null and void. That is why on many occasions I have referred to the Constitution to break it down to the local parlance, the way the common man can understand what I am saying. What is the Constitution? We call it the ground norm, the font et origo, the highest law of the land. In the local man's parlance, the way they can understand it, the Constitution is the Kabiesi, the Oba of the law, the Eze of the law, the Emir of the Lord of the law. The other ones are like district head or Bale, other laws like National Assembly's Act. So I said Section 84.12 was null and void because it was discriminatory. against Nigerians. That is what the Court of Appeal just decided 2 days ago. That section 8412, which was struck down by Justice Evelyn Anyadike of the Federal High Court, Umuahia Judicial Division, that it breaches section 42 subsection 1A of the Constitution, in that it is discriminatory. It is discriminatory against a certain set of Nigerians. We call such a law that is targeted at a particular class or person, a law ad hominem. And by the way, although the Court of Appeal did not say so, let me also say that it breaches Nigerians' right to freedom of association and assembly under section 40 of the Constitution. So I'm happy to add that one. So it is discriminating when you say a certain class of people, because you call them political appointees. You say they are ministers, they are special advisors, they are personal aides. They cannot vote and be voted for at congresses and conventions of political parties where they are to serve as delegate and vote and be voted for. As Nigerians, you are punishing them for serving Nigeria, and you call them political appointees. Because of that, you have to now punish them. How is that fair? Meanwhile, only on Tuesday, the same National Assembly itself did the greatest Hussein Bolt and John Benson's sprint race, 100 meters, by passing a law. First reading, second reading, third reading, all in one day. They have never done that to accommodate laws that will remove the sufferings of Nigeria, or remove insecurity, or remove corruption. But they were able to do first reading, second reading, third reading, all in one day. What were they doing? They were accommodating elected members of parliament, elected representatives at the National Assembly, the behemoth 109 senators, the 360 members of the House of Representatives, and the various houses of assembly members. They accommodated them that they can vote and be voted for at these same conventions. So what is good for the goose is not good for the gander, after all. So you want to sit down as a senator and go and contest. House of Reps, you sit down there and go and contest. House of Assembly, you sit down there, you go and contest. But you say a minister cannot also go and contest. Come on. Laws must be made to apply to all persons and classes evenly on a level playing ground. Once a law is discriminatory, then such a law is bad, bad, and bad. And that is what the Court of Appeal did just 2 days ago. And that is why I'm very happy that I have once again been vindicated on my analysis, because I don't mix my analysis of law with emotions. Hello, didn't you hear me when I said that defection of a governor, for example, was not unconstitutional? Even the Supreme Court of Nigeria, in the case of Attorney General versus Atiku Abubakar, said defection of a governor is painful, immoral, and unconscionable, but not illegal. Do you know why? Because the Constitution did not say so. For members of the legislature, the Constitution went after their jugular vein. Section 68(1)G and Section 109(G). The Constitution says you cannot defect from your original political party on whose platform you were elected to another one. But even then, the same Constitution made a proviso. It said you can, however, defect to another party if you can show that there has been a division in your original political party. But for the governors, the Constitution did not say anything. How can you bring in by extrapolation what the Constitution did not say? You now punish a governor for defecting. Section 60, the Constitution itself has made it clear how you can remove a governor. Section 80, Section 88, Section 89. You can remove a governor. A governor ceases to be a governor if he dies in office, 1. If he resigns, 2. If his tenure of office of 4 years expires by a fraction of time and is succeeded by another governor, that's 3. Or if he goes insane and he can no longer perform the functions of his office, 4. And then 5, if he's impeached by the House of Assembly in accordance with Section 188 of the Constitution. So such Section 180, sorry, not 80, Section 180, Section 188, and Section 189 of the Constitution have already provided how a governor can be removed from office. You cannot now go and do by extrapolation. Another thing that the Constitution did not say, and you say you call it judicial activism, it will make laws uncertain. And that is what the Court of Appeal, Enugu Judicial Division, in the case of Senator Ogboji versus Governor Umahi, heard last month. That is what the High Court of Justice, through Justice Taiwo O. Taiwo, held in the case of Governor Ayade, a PDP versus Governor Ayade. And with all humility and with all sense of modesty, I was the one who handled that Governor Ayade's case. And the court agreed with me that defection is not illegal. It may be immoral. If you check, just Google Mike Ozekhome defection, you will see where I have personally condemned defection, that it is not right. It does not make a polity stable that you are elected and then you defect. But where is the solution? I had called for the solution. The solution is that the National Assembly should amend the Constitution. The constitutional amendment is currently ongoing. So if you feel strongly that it is wrong for a governor to defect from one political party, go and amend it, for God's sake. Don't give the job to judges who cannot do the job. Judges are made to merely interpret the law. The executive executes the law. You, National Assembly, you make the law. And that is in accordance with the doctrine of separation of powers between the 3 arms of government, the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary, as ably propounded in the year 1748 by Baron Montesquieu, a great French philosopher. So that is why I'm very happy, because again and again have been proven right in my analysis. So when I see other people making analysis based on emotions, on sentiments, on morality, I say, hello, if you want to discuss issues based on morality, then go and meet reverend fathers and priests and bishops and pope and imams and clerics. You can even go and meet Ogun worshippers and people who mind the shrines. But for God's sake, carefully separate it from law so that we do not disturb members, we do not deceive members of the public.
Fine, and I'm happy you've made that distinction between the two sides of that argument. But you know, and to be honest, it is clear that many people think that already. You know, another electoral cycle is clearly in full bloom, or definitely getting to that point. But it does appear as though we're destined to go into these elections with little or no reform to the current bodies of laws that we have now. What would you recommend?
Yeah, of course. We are going to have the same psychical cycles, the same Baba Salah's Alawada, Keri, histrionics. Did you think anything was going to change with this kind of unitary constitution that we are having, which is not federalist, with a behemoth, elephantine federal government at the top that controls over 70% of these resources, with the states controlling the other ones with local governments, and the local government that ought to be the real people, the real grassroots people, being relegated to the background, governors seizing and waylaying allocations made to local governments. Under the Constitution, They will lay their funds. And local governments are left with peanuts, not to have money, to even pay salary, not to talk of development. You think the electoral law is going to change? So what do you think? No reforms? The Justice Uwe's electoral reform that was done many years ago, all the proposals, have they been embedded into the electoral law? There's been no reform. We are still having it as politics of winners take all. Politics of come and chop. Amala politics. Amala politics, politics of the stomach. Democracy of the stomach. Where the winners take all. Where a person will go and take a loan from a bank to contest election so that he will begin to repay the loan. In other words, politics, apart from armed banditry and insecurity, have become the greatest industries in Nigeria today. What do you think of a situation where even the hallowed office of the presidency has been reduced to a situation of buffoonery, of mockery, that we are having over 100 presidential aspirants, even with the leading political party, the ruling political party, having almost 40. So what did you think you are going to be able to do to change the present situation with the present lopsided unitary constitution that we have, which does not respect fiscal federalism, which does not respect individual rights of the people, of indigenous people, which does not give security to the people, which does not even give democracy dividends. In fact, no democracy profit, because dividend is a corporate word, which shows that before you can distribute dividends, you must have made profit. Have we even made profit? Are we not worse off today? Nigeria's population, by the last projection of United Nations, of about 260 million people. Can any Nigerian carry the Bible, a Christian, and swear, or a Muslim carry the Holy Quran and swear, or the Ogun iron worshipper, the shrine minder, carry the piece of iron and swear that we are better off in 2022 than we were in 2015? If you can, I want to participate. I want to come and watch the swearing. The truth is that things have gotten worse and worse under our very watch. In fact, Nigeria, if it is not a failed state, it's actually a failing state like Afghanistan, Yemen, and some other banana republics, because non-state actors like armed bandits, kidnappers, Boko Haram people, societal miscreants, they now possess equal, at times more potent power than the illegitimate government. They challenge the sovereignty and suzerainty of Nigeria as a state, as an independent state. They go to Niger State, they go to Borno State, they take over swaths of land, local government areas, and plant their flags, and then collect taxes from indigenes, even give them gate passes for you to pass. That is one of the greatest indices of a failed state, when non-state actors possess more equal or even more potent powers than a legitimate government. You think with that, the present electoral act can suddenly invoke Professor Pella's abracadabra magic? There's nothing will change. My brothers and sisters, go and note it down. Nothing will change. The killings, the ballot boxes snatching, the ballot papers mutilation, the conspiracies, the buying of electoral votes with 1,000 to 2,000 naira, the bribery and corruption right in the face, in the clear view of Nigerians as security agencies, the giving out of rice and of salt, of Maggi cubes, of tarodo, of tatashe, of tomatoes, of palm oil, of vegetable oil, even at the voting site, we still continue. Nothing has changed. And nothing will change. Because the system itself has not changed. The matter is systemic. It is deep rooted. We are trying to merely cure a serious ailment like leprosy with a palliative balm meant for eczema. And it cannot work until we dip ourselves in national resurgimento, national revival, like Naaman the leper that dipped himself into River Jordan 7 times and became cleansed of his leprosy. We will continue to have a national malaise and affliction without change.
All right, Dr. Ozekhome.
The leaders, those elected, have not helped matters because they are state captors. They have captured the state. They have captured the state's resources. So when you see them quarreling with them in the afternoon or morning, Steve, don't mind them. In the night, they all meet because they have a common purpose of how to bleed Nigerians, how to asphyxiate them, how to corner our resources. They gather together in the wee hours of the morning when you and I are sleeping as honest, innocent human beings. They gather together like witches and wizards to distribute a partition, like the Berlin West Africa Conference of 1844. They partitioned the resources of Nigeria while honest people are sleeping. Nothing has changed. They are all friends. So PDP is the reverse side of the APC. They are the same 6.5 dozen.
All right, Dr.
The same
Ozekhome.
Hamlet.
So that leads,
and the Prince of Denmark.
That leads me
the
to
same
the next
akara,
question.
The same akara.
Can you hear me, Doctor?
Beans. The same akara.
I know
beans.
It's the same.
And momoy, they cannot change.
Two sides of a coin. I get you, Dr. Ozekhome. But that leads me to the next question.
Thank you.
The two major political parties, as you can see, appear to have treated the issue of zoning with a lot of levity as against the widespread, clamor for its application. What do you think about this in terms of the future of a truly peaceful Nigeria? Because it might end up that, the two leading parties might produce candidates from the northern part of the country as against the mood of the nation that think that power, ought to rotate, to the south. So if they are jettisoning stylishly the concept of zoning, don't you think that politics is taking over, instead of fairness, instead of justice, instead of equity that ought to bring everybody on board? What are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are clear, and they have been so clear. I had predicted, even more than 6 months ago, just Google, you will see my prediction. I said, all these questions about zoning, these people are deceiving us. They will not zone anything. They will not zone anything. They do not know that in a polity, the interests of the minorities should be accommodated with the interests of the majority. For example, Governor Yaya Bello of Kogi State. He's the governor of Kogi State. He's from Ebira. Ebira is not the majority tribe. The majority tribe has always been the Igalas. That is why you can see the people happier, at least that power shifted from the known locus to a different one. For example, the Tibis of Benue State and the other major tribe there, the other tribes have not had power given to them because only one tribe continues to have it. In Edo State, it used to be the Benis alone because it is the major tribe. Later, we saw through Professor Ozekhome Osumbo, who is from the Ishan zone, becoming the governor. And then we later saw Adams Oshomole, who is from the Afema zone, where I come from, also becoming governor. That makes for equity. You cannot continue to say you want to dominate because you have the larger population and you say, oh, after all, politics is about numbers. You forget that there's what you call social justice, egalitarianism. You forget that there's what you call peace, genuine peace, which Abiola says should not be peace of the graveyard, should not be peace of the cemetery. You say, I always hear people talk about peace, about peace, about peace. The question is, well, what type of peace are you looking for? The graveyard or cemetery is the most peaceful place on earth. But that is not the kind of peace we are looking for. The peace we are talking about is a peace that is imbued with egalitarianism, with social justice, with equality. That is the kind of peace we are talking about. So when the southern side of Nigeria, after Lord Lugard's amalgamation of Northern Protectorate and Southern Protectorate on the 1st of January 1914, after a young lady, Miss Flora Louisa Shaw, gave Nigeria her name, Nigeria, after Niger area. In an article she wrote in the London Financial Times on the 8th of January 1897. Have we been able to get nationhood? We have not been able to get nationhood. The Igbo race today, with all respect, is still being marginalized. They see it as a dot in the cycle. After the Civil War ended in January 1970, when General Philip Effiong surrendered to General Obasanjo, General Yakubu Gowon, the then head of state, who became head of state as a bachelor at the age of 32 years, of course, an age where students are still battling to finish their first degree, with ASU extending the strike, promulgated or declared the 3 R's: reconstruction, rehabilitation, and reconciliation. Have the Igbos been reconstructed? Have they been rehabilitated? Have they been reconciled? Where is the Igbo president in the present security apparatchik of Nigeria? Where is an Igbo man there? I want you to show me. Apart from Agui Ronsi, JTU, General Johnson Thomas Umunakwe Agui Ronsi, who was head of state through a military coup, barely for 6 months, and he was removed and killed. Show me any other Igbo person that has been president of Nigeria since 1914. Apart from Dr. Alex Ekweme, who was vice president to Alhaji Aliyu Usman Shehu Shagari, show me any other Igbo person who has been vice president. You have been rotating this thing among the biggest ethnic groups. So, why the southern governors were all saying we want the presidency and power rotated to the south? Many of them were also busy sponsoring and helping their northern counterparts. So, in a situation like that, how are you going to have peace? I predicted about 6 months ago, and I want to be faulted. Each time whenever I'm faulted, I will come and admit it. I said the next election we have 2 northern candidates again. I said it more than 6 months ago. Go and Google.
That's your position.
The situation.
You are sticking with that prediction that the 2 leading parties will.
That is still yes. That is still my prediction, and you can see it that the South itself is not helping matters. In the 2 major political parties, many of them have declared. More people from the southern zone have declared than from the northern zone. Even when a presidential form in APC is 100 million naira, and in PDP is about 40 million naira.
45.
Even when the Electoral Act says no political party should spend more than 5 billion, no individual should spend more than 1 billion. Of course, you and no individual should spend more than 5 billion for presidential election. You and I know that even as we are talking, some of them have already spent more than 5 billion naira, even before the election starts. So in such a situation, how can you have genuine peace, egalitarianism, and peaceful coexistence, mutual respect, inter-ethnic, inter-religious, inter-tribal harmony? It becomes difficult.
We are fast running out of time.
So we will continue to go through a cycle.
And we only have about a minute, 2 minutes max left, but I'm happy you talked about diversity and interreligion and the complexities within there, because someone like you who is a self-professed nationalist, we know that you've many times warned in the past about the effects of what you've called religious extremism on Nigeria's ability to survive. With that in mind, how exactly do you feel about the killing of that student, Deborah, in Sokoto recently? Would you want to state, the state government rather, to intervene in that matter? And specifically, how do you feel about what happened?
I want the Sokoto state governor, my very good friend, Aminu Tambuwa, to take up this matter seriously and make sure that these people are prosecuted. Deborah Yakubu, a 200 level student of Shehu Shagari College of Education, was brutally lynched, killed, murdered, stoned, and then burnt. They say she made a statement of profanity. Are you the one to defend God? How do you defend God? The Nigerian Constitution, Section 10, says that there shall be no state religion. Section 38(1) provides for freedom of religion to everybody. What is the business of government in holy pilgrimage to Jerusalem and Israel, to Mecca? What is your problem? Even the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be unto him, that they said they were defending. Have these people read the Holy Quran, Section 109, verses 1 to 5, where the people of Mecca, who were pagans, wanted the prophet to worship their gods, and that in turn, they will worship his own Allah, his own God. They promised to give him wealth, the most beautiful women. You know what the Holy Prophet told them? He said, I worship not that which you worship, nor do you worship that which I worship. Do not expect me to worship that which you worship, nor will I expect you to worship that which I worship. To you, your religion, and to me, my religion. In other words, he was preaching religious tolerance. It is a matter between you and your God. How do you brutally kill and stone a young lady that you say she blasphemed? Who are you defending? You cannot defend God. They should bring those people to book who killed Deborah Yakubu in cold blood, murdered her in cold blood. We saw the video. I cried when I saw a young lady in the year 2022 being pursued, and then stones being hurled at her, being brought down, being marched upon. They were killing using clubs to a mache, and then they put tires and put fuel, petrol, and set her on fire with most gruesome crudity and savagery. I wept. That is not good for this country. That is not good. We have seen it before. Agbawa, it was done. We saw the case in Kano where Akaluka's head was put on a stick and taken around the country. And then you are talking about bringing peace and tranquility to a country. Those people must be brought to book to show that crime does not pay, and to show that the state is not a tacit supporter and condoner of this savagery, of this barbarism, of this Hobbesian state of nature where life was short, nasty, brutish, and solitary. We must show that we are civilized people living in the 21st century, and that Nigeria is not a banana republic, nor a country of the jungle. I'm sad. I wasn't able to eat when I saw that gruesome video that went viral. It's so shameful. Governor Tambuwa must bring to book the perpetrators. I heard that only 2 people were arrested. How can you, in a class of more than 200 students, how can you, in that video where we saw the people killing this innocent girl and their faces were clear, how can you say you have only seen 2? For God's sake, let us be sane. Nigeria has become a country of insanity where you see people dying in an accident or being murdered. Instead of saving them, what you do is to now take a phone and begin to video. When I was growing up, if you
Thank
heard that
you.
someone
Thank
died
you
in
so
the
much,
next house, for the
Dr.
next 4
Ozekhome.
days, we will not be able to come out because we feel that the apparitions, the spirits of those dead people will be lurking around. Now, people take video to begin, small children to begin to video dead bodies.
We have
people
run
who are
out of
being
time.
killed. We have
Dr.
lost
Ozekhome,
humanity.
but we do want to
We
thank
have
you
lost
for joining us
humanity.
on the morning show today.
It's a shame.
It's been
Thank
quite
you.
an interesting conversation. Thank you for joining us.
And may the soul of Deborah Yakubu, as you said,
appreciate you.
find justice. Thank you. Thank
May,
you
may
so
her
much.
soul rest in perfect peace, and I condole with the family.
Thank
I
you.
console them.
Thank you so much.